Hello, dear learners. This is slangslang.com, your free English language class.
Hello viewers, if something is black, it is black. If something is white, it is white. If something is black and white, it is partly black and partly white. We have learned perfect tense. We have learned that perfect tense is the tense where we emphasize that action is completed. And continuous tense is the tense where we emphasize the continuation of action. There is a tense called perfect continuous. Perfect continuous means action completed and continued both. How is it possible that an action which is completed is still continued? And if it is continued, how can we emphasize that it is completed? He has died. Still dying. I have washed my hands. Still washing. We must clear it. This is langslang.com and I'm Asghar Sayed. Okay. First, if you people have made the assumption that this lesson is about perfect continuous only. No, it is not only about perfect continuous. It is lesson 2 on tenses. Lesson 2 on tenses means we are adding more to our previous lesson on tenses. Now come back to the question, how can we emphasize in the same sentence that action is completed and also that action is continued? No, we can't emphasize the continuation and completion of an action in the same sentence. It is not about that. Perfect continuous is not about that, where you are meaning both the things. Then what is perfect continuous? Perfect continuous is only about the continuation of action. When we talk about the continuation of action, only then we use perfect continuous. But we already have a tense for telling continuation of action, and that is continuous tense. Why do we need perfect continuous then? There is minor difference between continuous and perfect continuous in their use. We use continuous tense when we emphasize an action is continued. We use perfect continuous tense when we emphasize the continuation of action, but also discuss or mention or have in mind the time of start of that action. In perfect continuous also, you talk about the continuation of action. But the difference between continuous tense and perfect continuous is this, that in perfect continuous, you also discuss or mention or have in mind the time of start of that continued action. For example, they are watching TV. They are watching TV is continuous tense. But if you say they are watching TV for 2 hours, you have to say they have been watching TV for 2 hours. Because now you are saying an action is continued and giving the time of start of that action. That is 2 hours before. They have been watching TV, so you are not making it continuous, you are making it perfect continuous. They have been watching TV for 2 hours. Look at that. So the difference you see that in continuous, you are using only are, only be and ing form, and you are not using the time of a start of that action of watching TV. But in perfect continuous, you are using have been watching TV, the continuation of action is there, and the time of start is 2 hours before. So time of start is given. I'm guiding them. I'm guiding them is a continuous tense, simple continuous, present continuous, and I have been guiding them since 24 January. Now 24 January is the time of start of the action of guidance, so it is now perfect continuous. I said in perfect continuous we discuss or mention or have in mind the time of start of the continued action. For example, for how long have you been working for them? For how long have you been working for them? Now you are discussing the time of start of the continued action. Continued action is working. Working is the continued action. But why we are making it perfect continuous? Because we are discussing the time of start. For how long have you been working? So when did you start that, it means. So you are talking about the time of start of the continued action. So you are using the perfect continuous and you are not using the simple continuous. If you are saying, where have you been living? Where have you been living? Why are you not saying where are you living? Where are you living? You can say that. So why are you not saying where are you living and you are saying where have you been living? That means between you and the listener there is a time of start in the mind. So you are making it perfect continuous. Otherwise you would be making it simple continuous. If I'm saying you that where have you been living, it means me, I and you are talking about or thinking about a time of start. And that can be since we last met, where have you been living? Since we last met, where have you been living? That means after that, where have you been living? Otherwise, if you don't have that time of start in your mind, if you are not discussing it or having it in mind, then you will not be necessarily using the perfect continuous. You will be using only continuous. You will be saying, where are you living? So when you see that somebody without mentioning the time is using the perfect continuous, it means that he is talking about some time which is not in the sentence, but it is between you and the speaker. This is perfect continuous. Now look how the following two examples differ in mentioning the time of start. They've been watching TV for 2 hours now. I've been guiding them since 24 January. First one is not mentioning the hour but counting the hours. Not mentioning the hour but counting the hour for 2 hours, for 3 hours. Second one is not counting the days but mention the date exactly. When you count the time, you are not mentioning the exact time or date, you are counting the time or date. You use the preposition for. You use the preposition for 2 days, for some months, for few days, for 5 years. You are counting with the preposition for. But when you are mentioning the time or mentioning the date, you use the preposition since. For example, since 24 January. Since last night. You are exactly mentioning which night, last night. Since 3 p.m. So you are mentioning the time. You are going to use the preposition since in perfect continuous. And for counting the time, you are using for. So for and since you keep in mind, for and since. These examples again keep in mind. Now it is clear what is perfect continuous. Perfect continuous is the tense where we not only emphasize the continuation of action, but also mention, discuss, or have in mind the time of start of that continued action. That's fine. But the question remains there. Why we call it perfect continuous? Why not only continuous if it is about continuation of action? For the answer, you have to look at this chart again. You have to remind yourself again. Remember this? We learned this in the actual lesson of tenses, the first lesson of tenses. We learned that continuous uses be and ing form, and perfect uses have and past participle form. Perfect continuous called both perfect and continuous because, like perfect tense, it uses have with the past participle form of be, been. Past participle form of be is been. So it uses have and past participle form of be, so it is called perfect. And it is called continuous because after the be, after the form of be, it uses the ing form. So it is continuous. Have and past participle form makes it perfect, and be and ing form makes it continuous. So it is perfect and the continuous both, like this. And I hope I have made my points about perfect continuous, and you can note them down. Further, on the tenses, we will learn about future tense here. In the beginning lesson, we learned about future tense, that we can make future tense by using will or shall. Yes, it is correct, but it is not the only way we make future tense. We can make future tense only by making present continuous and adding a future time. We can make future tense by making future continuous and adding a future time. For example, if I say I'm watching movie, I'm watching a movie, that means action is continued now. If I say I'm watching a movie tonight, I'm watching a movie tonight, it means that I'm planning, or I have planned to watch movie tonight. I have planned to go to cinema. Again, I am watching a movie, that means I am watching movie now, and that is a present continuous tense. But if you are using that present continuous tense with a future time, with a time in future, then it is a future indefinite. For example, I'm watching movie tonight, not now, tonight. That means it is about future, and this present continuous structure is making a future tense. Be going to. Be going to is yet another way to make a future tense. You can tell your future plans also in be going to structure. Be going to can of course be is going to, was going to, am going to, are going to, like that. You can use different forms of be, and you can tell your tense, your future plans with be going to structure also. Now, if you say we are going to defeat them, we are going to defeat them, that means you are not going somewhere. That means you are showing your plans or determination, and it is something like we will defeat them. We are going to defeat them means we will defeat them. The only difference in meaning is in this sentence, we are going to defeat them, you are exclusively showing your plan or determination. So that is yet another way of making future tense. So you can make future tense with will or shall. You can make future tense with be going to. You can make future tense only by using present continuous tense. And after our lesson 2, after this lesson on tenses, our verb form and tenses chart can be updated like this. You can note them down. You can update your verb form chart on tenses. In the following exercise, you will correct sentences. You will mainly find the mistakes, if there are any mistakes in the sentence, and you will correct them and rewrite them. Be your teachers yourself. It might be the most favorite game of teachers but I'm not particularly a fan of that. Bye here.
Question number 1. Question number 2. Question number 3. Question number 4. Question number 5. Question number 6. Question number 7. Question number 8. Question number 9. Question number 10. Question number 11. Question number 12. Question number 13. Question number 14. Question number 15. Question number 16. Question number 17. Question number 18. Question number 19. Question number 20. Question number 21. Question number 22. Question number 23. Question number 24. Question number 25. Question number 26. Question number 27. Question number 28. Question number 29. Question number 30.
This is slangslang.com, your free English language class.